Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lunchline Podcast. Yeah, this is the greatest podcast that you never heard, man. Every Friday at 12 p.m., this is what we do. We get together, we celebrate, we share information, man, and it's just a place where we can be transparent, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man, to the Lunchline Podcast, man. It is, in fact, the greatest podcast that you never heard, and if anybody wants to disagree with that, we can take it to the street. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Thank y'all for spending time here, man, with me. Thank y'all for just, bringing your lunch, man, and let's just do this together, man. For those of you who are first-time listeners, man, I would like to thank you for tuning in to the Lunchtime Podcast. This is a show that's very different from the other ones. Very different from the other ones. Why? Because I'm me, damn it. And if you want to argue that, like I said before, we can take it to the streets. So, today's episode is very, very important to black people. I feel like a lot of what I do is important to black people. My goal is to be a voice for black people. But let's not delay and let's go ahead and get right into this. So listen, y'all know the term Uncle Tom. Y'all have heard the term. As a black person, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard the term Uncle Tom before. Uncle Tom, if you been under the rock or you're just too young to understand or have heard that, Uncle Tom historically has been used as a term to describe other black people who are willing to sell out their own to appease or please somebody that's white or non-black, snitching on your own people to save your own skin. Uncle Tom is historically seen as somebody who is a sellout to the highest degree. But I want to educate y'all for a minute. And this even applies to me. If you're using the term Uncle Tom, you're using it incorrectly. Uncle Tom was in fact a man by the name of Josiah Henson, who was a amazing black man who was a slave, who did everything that he could to improve the lives of other enslaved people like himself. Even to the giving of his own picked cotton for the day, he would give them some of his cotton to make sure that their batches or their bales or bags were full, just so they didn't receive harsh punishment. That's the kind of guy that Uncle Tom was, and he was given that name by the people who loved and adored him. So the phrase Uncle Tom we have been using incorrectly for a very long time. Instead, the term or the phrase or the word that you want to use is Sambo. Sambo was a guy who's an overseer. His goal is to try to get slaves the harshest punishments possible. He is a black man who at every turn and every top opportunity that he gets, he wants to make other slaves' lives a living hell. That's who Sambo was. So when you think of the word Uncle Tom, we're not giving credit. We're giving the wrong guy the credit, right? Sambo is a guy that you want to say, not Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was a stand-up guy. He was a stand-up man. Josiah Henson, that's his name. So when you think of Sambo, you think of the guy Hoppin' Bob. You guys remember Hoppin' Bob from Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? The guy with the shotgun that will run around and be like, you heard me, New York City. I ain't nice like boss. I come down there and knock the black off ya. Yeah, that's who Sambo is. You remember, what's the guy's name? Steven from Django, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Everybody hated that guy. He would do anything he can to please his master, Leonardo DiCaprio, in that movie. That's who your Sambo is. Y'all follow me now? So it brings me to what we're talking about today. I want to discuss the Sambos amongst our culture. The Sambos of today that we see. People who run around, who do everything they can, whether we're talking in the media, on the radio, in song, in life, in politics. Black people who sacrifice, it ain't even a sacrifice, who give up and are willing to sell out their culture for the improvement or the interests of their masters. And you see it a lot in politics. Now, as a black person, this is very dear to me. So this is a very serious subject. You know, forgive me if I ain't, super, joyful and want to laugh and everything. But this is important to me because these people who are willing to sell out their own kind for some sort of position of power, a TV slot, a news show, some sort of credibility, or to get in favor with some sort of political party, whether you're talking about whether it's Congress, whether it's a judge position, whether it's a sheriff, these are the people that are willing to sell us out, that are willing to do us harm to protect the interests of their masters. You see people like Candace Owens. You see people like Sheriff David Clark. I know he resigned now, but people like that who don't believe that racism exists. People who openly say that, race isn't an issue in this country. Who are so outspoken against everything black and everybody black. They find every flaw that they can to make sure that they make it a talking point on their platform. To gain the respect and to gain the acceptance of white people. Sambos in our society are absolutely heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And it's easy for me to sit here and to just go on a rant and just disrespect them and call them out their name and just trash them. But I'm hurt by it when I see it because it makes me wonder, like, what do you, like, really, what do you think? And I have a philosophy about this, these Sambos that live among us. Is there there will come a time in every Sambo's life, every person who's willing to sell out their own race for some sort of favor with a white person or a political seat or whatever, to be on Oprah's show. You see it all the time. There'll come a time in your life when you'll realize that you are not as white as you think you are. Mark my words. For anybody that will sit on these platforms and that will openly disrespect black people, will never use their platform to really defend black people. Ever. There'll come a time when you're going to be highly disappointed in your decision. When you're going to realize that they see you as just another black person, as just another pawn. And you see it so much in politics. You see these people who sit up there and discuss all these things and they talk about black neighborhoods and black people as though we're nothing, as though we're tricked or we're being fooled by. And you hear them use this a lot. Conservatives on the left, conservatives on the right, libertarians on the left, libertarians on the right. And they use all of this politic bullshit when it really comes down to like, nah, they just the government and they're just politicians doing what politicians have always done. So it has nothing to do with left or right wing, conservative or Republican, nothing. Whether you talking about Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. Neither side has an interest or the best interest for black people. That's something that they'll never say. Instead, they get up there and they do these runaround bullshit arguments. that have nothing to do with nothing and act like black people are the ones being tricked by the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. As far as I'm concerned, the whole Constitution, all of the government, everything was designed to oppress black people, not to give black people equal rights. And for them to sit up there and spit on us, to make a mockery of us for their white masters, is the most disappointing thing that you can ever do as a black person. It's the most disgraceful thing that you can ever do as a black person. I don't really know. I don't know none of these people personally, but I don't know what is what's my question is, like, a sincere question that I have is, like, what happened to you? Like, what happened to you that made you want to just turn your back on your own people? To look at us with such disgust and I don't know, such partiality, like you have an issue with us. There's a deep psychological issue at hand. And I've done my digging, and I went into, the history of a lot of these people just to try to, get an idea as to where they from. Like what's the deal? And one thing that a lot of them have in common is that their spouse, and listen, I know who you love is who you love, but I notice a pattern that all of these people that speak openly against black people, their own race of people, in such disgust, are married to a non-black person. Now, I don't know. I can't sit here and say that has much to do with it, but there has to be some sort of deep-rooted hate that you have for people who look like you. There has to be. There has to be. When you can openly sit there and say out of your mouth as a black person on a news platform for the sake of some damn views that their racism doesn't exist in America. There's no such thing as police brutality. What about black on black crime? Bro, are you serious, man? Do we historically need to break down what has gone on, the reason why black communities are what they are? And I know y'all like to and this is why white people love you. This is why these news stations love you so much. It's because they know that you're safe. They know that you'll never say anything to criticize them or to come against them. And the way that you get your ratings and your position of I don't know, publicity or whatever you have your platform is by disrespecting your own people. So they love you. So as much as y'all like to clown rappers and people that y'all call ghetto who keep their communities down, y'all doing the same damn thing. You think you're serving us, but in all reality, you're not. Because the people who love you, the people who tune into your network, the people who watch your videos are white people. They're here for the circus show. A lot of white people don't have a problem with black people disrespecting black people or talking about black people. They love that. That's easy media for them. That's a great news story. And you know the quickest way, one of the best ways that they use to debunk a lot of the issues that black people bring up, like police brutality, racism in America, all of the things that we go through socially. The way that they debunk that, or the way that they try to destroy our argument, is by bringing a pawn or a servant of theirs on the air to openly dispute everything that we're saying. So you know the best way to combat the Black Lives Matter movement is to get somebody that's black up there and say, this whole movement is garbage. That's the best way that you debunk it. Because a white person saying it would just make it typical. Like, oh, that's just a regular white person. Like, nah, let's go get us a Sambo, somebody who is willing to do the master's bidding. Let's get them up here and give them the platform and tell them to say these things. And they sure enough get their little asses up there and they shuck and jive onto the podium. They shuck and jive right in front of the mic. And they say whatever they got to say in critique of black people without counting in everything that has to do with the history of America. And you get people on, and I watched the video today, You had a white guy and two black people on the stage with him. One of them was Candace Owens and another one was a black guy. I can't think of his name. And this white guy says, I've been in America all my life. Racism is something that I have not seen. America is not a racist country. I've been. And these two black people are sitting there nodding their heads. Yes, sir, Master Boss. Yes, sir, we agrees with you. We agrees with you. We agree. We've been in America all our life. We have never had an experience with racism. So we don't know what the rest of these Negroes out in America talking about in these ghettos. We don't know what they talking about defund the police. We know police is good. They ain't never did nothing but patrol my neighborhood to make sure we safe. Y'all serious? Are y'all really serious? It's the most heartbreaking thing ever. When you, in fact, know that the structure of policing was designed to catch slaves. It was designed for us. It was designed for the oppression of black people. And you guys will sit up there and act like this isn't America's history. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Who has done y'all so wrong that you can just sit up there and just let these people say these things and you agree with them? You know what's funny is that when you hear somebody like Candace Owens talk about there's no racism in America, she's the same person years ago in high school who came out and said she was being racially discriminated against and she had a lawsuit against the school board, because she was something with involving a white girl in her school. They said something or did something and she filed a lawsuit against the school and she won. So my question is like, yo, how can you sit here and say that racism doesn't exist when you won a lawsuit because of a racial situation? Somebody make this make sense. Now, if you're a white person or not a white person, if you're a black person who's in a relationship with a white person, listen, I'm not saying, listen, you love who you love. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so damn like I'm completely pro-black. I love black people. I love black women, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, damn, you can't be with who you want to be with. But the pattern that I'm seeing amongst a lot of these Sambos is the fact that they are unwilling to speak up for their own people. Because I guarantee you, if you know, what's the guy's name? Man, his name is leaving me. Let me find it real quick. But if you see these people get up there and they openly get to criticizing, you know, white people, you know, white crime. They start pulling statistics about the white crime and the incarceration of white people is so high, and why is white on white crime so high, and 80% of the crimes that are committed against white people are done by white people. They don't talk about these things, man. They never talk about these things. They never talk about these things. And once, like I said, it's extremely disturbing, and it's extremely heartbreaking as a black person to have to see this. I don't know what's wrong with you Negroes, but as I said before, it's going to come a time in your life. It's going to come a time in y'all life. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow, but you're going to realize that you're not as white as you think you are. And I don't give a damn who you marry. And so you see people in these political positions and you're like, we know we can go far if we marry somebody white. Right? Like they, come on, like elephant in the room. Do we got to say it? Like we know that. We know that. They're willing to sell us out and not defend us. Like you take a seat as a state or county prosecutor, right? You take a position as a prosecutor, and I'm talking about the guy in Kentucky over the Breonna Taylor case. Your job was to find justice. And that's part of the reason why I really want to talk about this. Is because this guy, this prosecutor, Cameron, I believe is it Cameron? No, it's not Cameron. It's Daniel Cameron. I'm trying to find my notes. Hold on. I got to find my notes. I'll find them. I'll look it up. But you got this guy who's a prosecutor over the Breonna Taylor case. His only job was to deliver justice to people. That was his job. And he failed at his job poorly. Failed miserably at his job. He's the same guy that sat up there and defended, what's the guy's name? The police department. I'm looking it up. This guy, Daniel Cameron, that's his name. Attorney General, covering up what happened. Lessening the charge, making it seem it's not as a big deal, like he was just doing his job. Just doing his job. And I'm pretty sure, the message that he got or the call that he probably received before he went up. He said, listen, you want to make sure that your career advances to the next level? You want to make sure that you go higher in your career? You better get this right. I'm pretty sure that's what they said to him. What you gonna do? We the reason why you here. You sold your soul to us to get this position. Right? You belong to us. Daniel. This is me speaking on behalf of the people that his masters. They masters come to him and they say, hey, listen. We know Breonna Taylor's. We know the officer was in the wrong. We know he needs to be in prison. We know that he was in the wrong here and we know he was wrong. She was innocent. He killed her. But you want to make sure your career goes to the next level? You better do what we say. You better do what we say. You better get up there. You better make this announcement. You better not even think of doing anything else than what needs to be done. We're not going to give Breonna Taylor the appropriate justice. We're not going to do that. You want to know why, Daniel? Because America has never done that for your people. So don't you get your black ass up there and think you're going to do it either. Right? Y'all can't tell me this ain't what they said to him. You sit your black ass down and you do exactly like I told you to do. Because they own you. Because they own you. The hopping bobs. I do whatever you say, Master Boss. I tell you where they at, what they did. I'ma snitch on them. I'ma make whatever I got to do to get in your favor. I do it. Listen to this, man. And I'm gonna say this, man. And me and my good, one of my best friends, right? We had this debate. We've been having this debate for a couple years now. And my homeboy would say to me, he'd be like, man, bro, I don't know about that Stephen A. Smith. And I used to defend Stephen A. Like, bro, what is you talking about? Like, man, Stephen A. legit. Like, bro, like he's straight. And this is why I love my homeboy, right? Because I trust his judgment of character. I really do. He has one of the best. I'm telling you, he sees things that I don't always see a lot of times, and I trust his judgment. And he like, man, I don't know about Stephen A. But me being a stand-up guy, and I love to give people the opportunity, I'm like, man, Stephen A. straight, man. Like, y'all need to quit bugging, man. Stephen A. straight. But something was made clear to me the other day. Something was made clear to me that I didn't want to really look at before with Stephen A. Which is when he came out and he said that Andrew Wiggins should be traded for not taking the vaccine. And how harshly he speaks about other black athletes who have the decision to say, yo, I value my life enough to not take something I'm unsure about. So for Stephen A to get up there and actually say that somebody's life should be altered simply because they don't want to participate in a mysterious vaccine that they know nothing about. And I thought to myself, I said, man, this is a damn... Now, would Stephen A do the same thing if it was a Luka Doncic or somebody? Would he say the same thing if it was a white player? Probably not. Just say that. I don't think he would. Not to that degree. I don't think he would. And listen, I've rocked with Stephen A like really hard, right? I rock with Stephen A because of his sports knowledge, but I can't deny what I hear and what I see, man. I can't deny it. When he said that about Andrew Wiggins, I said, bro, is this a hot take? Is this some sort of hot take for, is the bosses like saying to say this because you saying this man he should be traded? He should be traded simply because he's standing up for his rights as a person and as a human and say, yo, I value my life enough because I want to preserve my own life. I should be traded. When in fact, there are people that are actually dying even after being vaccinated, who are being hospitalized after being vaccinated. You say this are you blind to everything that's going on with people who are taking the vaccine? But you're openly criticizing this man, saying that his livelihood should be affected simply because he does not want to take something he doesn't know about. And he should, just because you trust these people, Stephen A, just because you trust them, it don't mean Andrew Wiggins need to trust him. Just because you want to take the jab juice in your arm and you trust it, go ahead, run your last up there, get a booster shot, get 2 shots, three or 4 more shots. Hell, line them up. But you can't come out to Andrew Wiggins for that. Sambo society. I will openly express my disgust, harsher about my people than any other people on the planet. Why? Because it makes my boss's ratings go up. Because speaking ill of black people is better media. And when you get another black person to do it, oh shit, that makes it much more sweeter. Much more sweeter. I'm so disappointed in these Sambos. But they doing what they supposed to do. But I'm disappointed. And it's heartbreaking. Because I'm somebody who likes to be fair. But goddammit, I'll be damned if I'm going to let a handful of Sambos kill 1,000 or 1,000,000. Hell nah. It's time to call them out like we see them, man. We ain't got no more time for this. Either you going to rock with us or you not. Y'all don't understand, man. Forget these people and they punk ass platforms. Like y'all selling out your own people. Y'all openly criticize your own people, but y'all asses won't say nothing about another race the way that y'all say about your own people. Nothing at all. Whether we talking politics or sports. And they get y'all little asses to jockey up there and get in front of that podium. I think you should be. What the fuck? As smart as y'all are, as intelligent as y'all are, right? Y'all got where y'all are because of some sort of intellect, right? Some sort of ability to do something great. Whether that's journalism, whether that's, basketball, well, something. You've done something right. But for you to get up there, man, and you not like be able to relate to what black people really go through? Like, do black people really have a reason to trust a mysterious juice that the government says to take, man? Like, really? Like, really? Really? I don't know. I don't know because I'm a guy who genuinely loves his own people. But I ain't gonna love y'all ass enough not to call y'all out. And I ain't gonna love y'all enough to watch y'all sit around and try to destroy our people any longer. I know that's for damn sure. So I don't give a goddamn if you a sheriff, an attorney general, none of y'all. All of y'all can kick rocks with y'all Sambo asses. So when y'all, so for my listeners, when y'all think about Uncle Tom, think of a great man. But when you think about Sambo and you want to call somebody out who's willing to throw his own people under the bus to gain favor with his master for his masters, man, stay away from them people. Stay away from them. People that are, you got Sambos on your job. People that are willing to snitch on everybody just to gain favor with the bosses. Come on, man. You got to have some sort of backbone. These people who own these jobs don't like you. And when I heard that goddamn politician say, you know what he said? Was it Candace? It might have been Candace. This is why companies like Detroit, this is why companies don't want to be in Detroit, because they loot and they rob and they burn the buildings. So now these companies don't want to have jobs there anymore. What? Really? You really believe this shit? This is why those companies don't really want to be there anymore. They don't want to provide jobs for black people simply because they're going to riot and loot and burn everything down. What? Baby, we got to break out the history lessons for you. When America, everything that's white owned, all the power that white people have has been stolen and passed down from generation to generation. Like 90% of the wealth of white people has been stolen and just passed down to the next generation. Like, here's the wealth. Go ahead and take it. This came from slavery like 8 generations ago. You know, this is the money from that. The buildings that you see, the land that you see, everything that black people built. If black people decided to burn the whole United States to the ground, damn it, we would have the right because we built this motherfucker. Built it. People who look like you. People who look like y'all. Black people built it. So if we decided to wake up and burn the whole damn thing down tomorrow, well, shit, you know. It's just the owner destroying his own property because we built it. But for y'all to sit around here and act like black people aren't the source, aren't the prime reason why the infrastructure of America exists. From the banks, the money that flows through America, the rich and the wealth that flows through America came from black people. It originated from black people. This is really all that I want to say about them. Because it makes me angry. And at the same time, it's like heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Because I believe that black people have a responsibility for black people. And I'm not saying that black people can't be corrected or stand corrected about things that we're doing inappropriately. Like, yeah, we need more self-love in the black community. Yes, we need to work together. Yes, we need to reestablish the ground rules of behavior amongst each other. You know what I mean? We need to revisit the importance of black people getting along and loving each other. Because I know we've been divided because it's been set up for us to fight over the scraps, right? So now our mindset is just do what we got to do to survive. But listen, what I want to say is that I know black people, we stand corrected when we need to be corrected. But I'm just not for anybody lying about us anymore to please their masters when they need to be killing their masters. They need to be walking off of these sets of these ABCs and NBCs and CNNs and shit and taking their following with them. You mean to tell me y'all influence is great? Y'all can't. This what happen when you don't own shit. This is what happen when you don't own shit. You get Sambos. When you don't own shit, you don't have any desire to having any real power or authority. You just want to, whoever the boss is, that's the boss going to take care of me. I know if I do right by him, he definitely going to take care of me. Shit. You say the wrong thing one day, your black ass be out the door. I don't give a damn if you've been there 20 or 30 years. You got to go. You got to go. This is the Lunchline Podcast, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. I hope and I pray that y'all have a great, safe weekend. And we're going to come back and we're going to do this shit right again next week, man. We're going to get to it, man. Until then, man, be blessed. You can follow us on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at the Lunchline Podcast, man. Just stay up to date with what we got going on, man. And follow YouTube channels under J Mitch, man. Thank y'all for stopping in, man. Y'all be blessed. Stay the fuck away from Sambos. And until next time, man. Peace.